Okay, boys and girls, a bit of live streaming. Gave it a go yesterday. Wasn't on a double monitor, so it was a bit hard. So yeah, take number two. What I'm going to do in the first bit of this stream is go over the stuff that I did in the yesterday stream, because I was stupid enough not to record what I'd done, and I'd love for the first bit to be saved so I could upload it to the channel, because there was quite a lot of good stuff on there. So that's what I'm going to do for the first like half an hour or so, and then I'll see if anyone's about then and answer any questions that you might have. Right, so let's get down to business. So basically, the first thing that I did in the messed up stream yesterday was answer a question that so many people have been asking. I've already got it open. Yes, I have. Correct. The first thing that I'm going to cover is about if you've got a username and a password, how to separate them if you have a list. Okay, I probably get this question about 4 or 5 times a day, so I'm just going to go over that to start with. So let's presume, did I make a nice little folder on this computer? No, I didn't. Okay. I've still got the file though, handy. So let's pretend that you have a file like this that's separated with commas, okay? So you've got the username and you have a password, okay? And you want to separate these because you want to log in with them. Obviously, it's no good just having them like this. So you're obviously going to want to separate the values, okay? I know a lot of people are having trouble with this, so let's get down to it. So let's just say you have this file. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we are going to get rid of it for now. Okay, and get rid of this. This is from yesterday. In fact, oh my goodness, I'm so ill prepared. I bet you I've still got the, let's have a check. I think I've still got where we got into doing, what site was it? TikTok. Let me just check this out. I've still got all this stuff here. Let's have a look. God, it's on the go slow today. Yeah. So I'm just going to get rid of all this. We got into doing a TikTok bot. So, okay. So let's just make a resource and we're going to call it accounts. Okay. And this is going to be lines from file, because we want to grab that, that file that I showed you with the accounts in. So it's going to go over there. Read. Yep. That's all good. Finish. Okay, so we've got a resource called accounts now. Then we're going to hit record, and then accounts. So I want to put something in here, and we're going to use the file that we made with the accounts in. Okay, we're going to hit OK, and we're good to go. Let's get over here. I'm going to show you how you can separate them, then you can use them in your bot. So something that a lot of people don't realize is that you can look at your resources just by pressing this bug icon here, and it's going to show you all your variables and your lists and your resources. So if we click here, you'll see that we have our accounts. So that's that list, remember I showed you, that we loaded in, and it's got Gary@hotmail.com, comma, and then it's got the old fake password here, and then we've got the second account, okay, and then the password here. Okay, but that's no good like that, is it? We want it separated. Hey Marty, you right? Nice to see you joined us. I'm just going over the stuff that you were good enough to ask about yesterday, some of the questions and stuff. So I'm going to be doing that for the first half an hour. So it's probably going to be stuff that you've already seen. But you will be glad to know that I have the old double screen now in here instead of the carnage that happened yesterday. So yeah, I'm just going over the stuff that we did. Going to go over the SMS. Gonna start mucking around with TikTok a little bit, but I'm just at the start, so I'm basically repeating what we did yesterday, and then yeah, then I'm gonna go from there, and then I'm gonna get into some crazy stuff later on with some of the bots that I'm working on. Yeah, so we have our accounts here. We've got username, password. So as I said, that's no good to us like that. So we want to put these into separate variables so that when we go to log in somewhere, we can use them like they should be in username and passwords. Now, how we can do that is that if we go into tools and we use pass line, okay? And what line do we want to use? Well, we want to use the first line of this resource that we made. So in this case, it's the only one that we have, okay? Accounts. And then what do we want to separate this into between the commas? Well, I'm going to change this to, because it is an email, so I'm going to call this variable email, and the second one password, okay? Now, something else I want to show you that people get stuck on quite a lot is when you come here and you select your resource, okay? No, let's do this properly. When you come here and select the resource, you'll see there's an item, reuse resource. Now, if you leave this on, unless you've changed it when you made your resource, then what's going to happen the first time that your script runs, you're going to use this, okay? And then the second time, you're going to use that again, okay? What you need to do is change this to off. So the first time that the script runs, you're going to hit this one and use these details, and in the second run you're going to do this one, and then third, and so on and so forth, okay? So that's a mistake that, well, not a mistake, but an oversight that a lot of people do. So that's a little cool tip for you. So we're ready there. Press accounts. So we're saying use the account, so use this, okay? And only use it once. So use this line once and move on, okay? And then we want this. So we're going to call this bit, which is this, email, and we're going to separate this into something called password. Okay, so we're going to hit OK, and you'll instantly see, look, we can now see what's inside the variable called email. It's this email here, gary@hotmail.com, and the password is here. Okay, so then you could come along and you can use them. So when you're logging into a bot where it says put in your email, you would then use your variable email. Okay. Should I? I didn't do this yesterday, but we could just venture off and do that somewhere. Browser load. Let's go to good old Reddit, the bane of my life. Let's go there. Okay, let's try and we don't actually need this. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Okay, so let's just come off here. We don't really care about this bit. It's not what I'm trying to show you. Just going to hit OK to log in. Okay, so you see here where it's asking for a username and a password. Well, now what we can use the variable that we've got email and password that's got these details in. See, they're nice and separated now. So you haven't just got your email and password in one line. So you could come over here and you could put type text, and you can, in here, you would go to your variables, and this one you put email, or if it's a username, then put your username, and then hit OK, change the speed, etc. But so like that, it's going to go and type it in. So Gary, it's going to type this, gary@hotmail.com. You get the idea. So then I click here, type text. What do I want to put in here? Well, I want to use the variable password because it's this. And then hit OK. And obviously this isn't going to work because this is just made up crap. Okay. And then you'd hit OK. So I hope that makes sense. Now, if I ran through this again, then do you see now the variable email holds this, eric@gmail, and the password is this. So that would be our second account. Yeah, so then it goes through that, and if you had a third, it would carry on and go through until you haven't got any more. Do you see it's disappeared as well from here? Okay, and then if we tried to run it again, we'd get an error. Well, not an error. Well, it shows an error. It's not really an error, just telling you that all data has been passed. It's all finished, all your accounts. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. I get that all the time, so hopefully the people asking that are going to watch this video. Marty, is it possible to use proxies with BAS by connecting directly to the proxy provider? not quite sure. Can you clarify a little bit there, mate? Maybe it's me misreading it. Is it possible to use proxies with BAS by connecting directly to the proxy provider? Maybe it's me. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean. I'll wait for you to clarify on that, mate. Okay, so the next thing that we went over. Oh, I think I lost connection there for a second. Okay, so in case I lost connection there, I was just moving on to the next thing and answering Marty saying that I don't understand his question. Okay, so the next thing that we went over briefly was SMS, and this is probably the most asked question I get, even more than what I just showed you. So let's get rid of this rubbish. No, actually, this is where I made a mistake yesterday as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm here and I'm going to save it. I'm going to call it pass list, pass file. So I've made in the Discord, I've made a separate channel where I'm going to start posting all these bits and bobs. Yeah. So, okay. So let's move on to the next thing. I'm not doing a whole file showing you this. I just want to give you a brief overview on how to use SMS. So BAS comes with some providers that you can work with out of the box, so to speak. You don't have to use them, and even the providers that are there, you can just use API calls to their service, okay, like you would if you were kind of programming properly, so to speak. But if you're using some of their services that's already built, then they've made it really easy for you. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Okay, so if we come here and we look for the good old I'm going blind in my old age. Where am I? Where am I? What am I doing? So if we look for, why can't I see it? SMS, receive SMS. Okay, and then, okay, so we're going to press get phone number. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Get phone number. Okay. So these are the services that you can work for and work with straight out the box. And if you work with any of these, it's going to make your life easier because BAS already incorporates them. So if you're lucky enough to work with SMS PVA or SMS Active RU, any of these four, then you kind of your work is cut short. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of all this here now that I've saved it. Just make sure I don't overwrite it later. Okay, so I think from yesterday there is an account on this computer. So is there? Yes, we did use this computer yesterday. Let me just come here, and for example, if you're working with SMS Active RU, then just say that you signed up with them. This is one of my old accounts with them. You can go to your settings, and then you'll see an API key. Now, if you're not working with these guys and you're working with one of the other ones, somewhere in your settings you'll have an API key like this. Okay, so you want to grab that. Make sure you, oh, he says grab that. You can't even do it. Copy. Okay, so let's get back over to the bot. Yeah, and then we're gonna say we're using this service. So that's the one that I was just on. Okay, and then what you want to decide next is what site you want to work with. Where are you trying to get a number for? So it could be Facebook or Gmail or Instagram, you know, whatever the case. So just say Instagram. Now, which country do you need that from? Now, built into BAS, it doesn't work with all the countries for the providers, okay? That's what I mean. Sometimes you're not going to be able to do it this way. You might have to use the actual service, but let's just say for now, you can see they're good enough to tell you which ones work with which service. So let's get a number from Kazakhstan, let's just say, okay, and then it works with the service, so we can use Kazakhstan. Now, this is, you just shove your API key in here, boom, copy and paste, and then what's going to happen is it's going to go to the service, it's going to get a number for Instagram that's from Kazakhstan, and then it's going to put that number into a variable called phone number. Okay, hope that makes sense. So we hit OK, and you can even see it going off to do the old business with the sniffer. We look at the received, you'll see that we have the number here, but you don't have to worry about all this. Yesterday I was talking about going to grab this with a regex, but if you're using one of the services outside the box, then that phone number, okay, is already in a variable called phone number. So you're going to be blown away how straightforward this is really. So to get the code that you want, then you just go get activation code from where. So you just put the phone number in here, the variable phone number, okay? And how long are you willing to wait? What's the max amount of time before the bot's going to go there's something up? So that's up to you. And then once it has that code, where do you want to put it? And a variable called activation code makes sense, okay? So then you'd put OK. It's not going to work, obviously, because I haven't got a bot ready to do this, but you could just run it like this. When it's found it, when it's got it, then there you go. So we've got status wait code at the moment. Okay. So what would happen when it's got that number? Then it would. When it's got that activation code, then it's going to put it into the variable called activation code, and then like we did previously, where we had the variables email and password, you would do the same. You just go to the place where you need to put that activation code, and just plonk it in. Okay, let's just give it a second to see if it gets it back to us before I move on. I'm not going to wait 10 minutes obviously, but I'll just give it a minute. While that's happening, let's have a look. Marty, a lot of providers give you an API key, so you can do that without having to log in. Let me just read that back to make sure. If we buy proxies from a third-party provider, are we able to connect directly to the proxy provider's website instead of downloading the proxies into a list? Ah, right, yes, I understand now. Sorry, mate, yes. With a lot of providers, and it was my fault, I didn't read it correctly, not yours, mate. With a lot of providers, they'll give you an API key, and you can work with them in BAS, or depending on what type of proxies you're talking about. Some will just give you a port number if you're using residential, like you'll just have one port to connect to. Like when I get mobile proxies, like you'll just get one IP address, and that one IP address connects to their pool, and then from there it changes every 2 minutes. And we're not going to get a number in the time. I'm not going to wait any longer. I'm not going to wait 10 minutes. Don't want you to fall asleep. Residential, yeah. So what will happen normally is you'll get ports. Like, you get proxies like IP and port. We will just get, depending on the service, like 2 or 3 of them, and you just use them. Well, curl is for PHP, so it's a kind of a API. You can connect to it still. You can still use that curl information to do a GET request. I'll show you that. Later on today. Actually, I understand what you mean. It just says curl, and then it says it gives you the information. Well, you can use a GET request, and normally that will work the same. They're just showing you different with the provider you're looking at. They're showing you how to connect with them with different programming languages. Sorry, and for curl, that's for PHP, if I'm correct. Yeah, but you can. There's a workaround. You don't need to use programming languages. You can still do a GET request to get the information back. Yeah. Okay, you're gonna shout at me. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna stop it there. We didn't get a number in time. I'm not gonna make you wait 10 minutes. All right then, guys. So that's the basics of it. You can do stuff like if the activation fails, then what do you do, and all that. So you can get more advanced. But I just wanted to quickly show you kind of the basics of how to grab a number. And let's just say that did work. Okay, then that activation code would have been where it says undefined. That would have been there, and you can just put it where you need it, and you're through to the next stage of whatever you're trying to do. Okay, Depending on the service, that can be hit and miss, and what service you're trying to hit. Like if you're trying to do Google and stuff, then good luck with a lot of the providers. Yeah, so that's what I'll leave it at that for that. Okay, so I am going to come off here, and I'm going to save as. I call this our attempts to get a number. Yeah. Let's call this SMS. It's really short and sweet. There you go. We don't even need this on here, of course. Okay. Righty-ho. So the next thing, my good old friend Marty, we started talking about the site. Oh my god, TikTok. Okay, and how to like grab stuff. Basically, we were talking about how to scrape off of there. So I'm just going to show you really quickly what happened there, but more simplified because we kind of got to the bottom of certain things. So this can be done with lots of sites, okay? And like I've said in the course and everything, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So for instance, we could have gone onto TikTok, and by the way, yesterday was the first time I ever went onto the site. I can't believe as soon as we went on, there's girls dancing with their titties bouncing. Anyway, it's kind of like yeah, strange sight. But however, with that being said, going back to what we're talking about, when you're scraping information, normally, and depending on what site you are dealing with, you can scrape in different ways. For instance, you can use the loop function that's included in BAS, or you could do a regex and all that. So we started playing with the loop function on there. So I'll just show you that now. So I'll just get a new project going and call it TikTok. That'll do. Okay, so let's just go over. Now I'm fond of TikTok. Now I see what's going on there. All right, Maya. Yeah, cool. Thanks a lot for your input again, though, mate. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Right, let's get on. Okay, so basically what we did is we just loaded TikTok straight up. The .com? Goodness. I want to get. What the hell? What am I going to? What am I doing? Is it not .com? Or was it just my spelling? It was just my spelling. Okay, okay. Oh yes, it's the same girls dancing all over the place. Should just watch this really instead. Right, must get on, must do this. Right, yo. Let's go to the right site. Okay. Down, let's have a little sip of coffee. Let's get to the right site. Right. So what we started doing is like, what's the best way to get the usernames? Like obviously if you're building a bot with TikTok, you probably don't want to just get it is the same girls. You probably just are not looking to scrape off the front page. Maybe you are, and then you can build out. I don't know. The idea behind this is just to find a way to get the usernames. And what happened is that we started to use the loop function, but we were getting the wrong CSS, and we were including some of the songs and stuff like that. Anyway, I'll show you what we did. So one way that you can scrape data with BAS is, for instance, this is the username we want. So you can click and then we go start loop. Okay, so we're going to loop through the page. Let me just come off here. Okay, and it's going to ask you what you want to grab. Let me just hold on, give me a second. I should have done this at the start. Should have just got a bit more organized here. Actually, I want the log there so you can see the usernames. Okay, let's just try to get a balance here between. That'll do. I think that'll do. Okay, so what happens is when you press start loop, before it's going to fill out the stuff here, it's going to ask you, what do you want to grab? What's the thing that you're trying to grab on the page every time? So look, you can see what's highlighted here. You see? Highlighted, highlighted, highlight. So it looks like H3 so far is good. In other words, it's going to go through the whole of the page, okay? And every time it sees a H3 tag, in this case, but you can change it, it's going to grab that information, or you can start working with it, okay? I think that's good. The one that we grabbed yesterday was no good at all, okay? So you can see they're highlighted. We started at the top, so you'll notice when we get down here, they're not highlighted because at the time when we started grabbing, we're up here, and the bot can only see this bit because it's got an infinity scroll on TikTok, okay? But we'll talk about that in a minute. So what we could do then, so we're quite happy that this grabs the usernames, okay? So we just hit OK, and then what, now we need to come out here, goodness. Okay, so what happens, it builds this for you. So the first one is just the cycle number, okay? So what number element has it found? This is the current XML, okay? And this is going to log out the XML, and I'm not interested in that. Now what I want to do, so the next thing you need to decide is what do you want from this? In this case, I want to click, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to get the, first of all, I'm going to get the actual text, so you can see that, then we're going to change it. So I'm going to find, if I can, get element text, okay? And you put element from the loop, yes, it is, we're including it in the loop. And every time you find one, what do you want it to be called? So I'm going to call it username, he says. Username, like so, okay? I'm going to untick this if it fails. I don't want it to finish, that's fine. So now what's going to happen is that every time it goes through, it's going to find the element, and then it's going to put the text into a variable called username, okay? And then what I want it to do, just to start with, is I'm going to come and log tools, log, and what do we want to log out? Well, what's inside the variable, okay? Username. So there you go, so that's the first one. So let's start from the top again. Come through. Actually, I want to get rid of this too. I don't really care about showing the actual loop repetition number on the log. You see, and number 2, and then number 3. Number 4. Oh, it did find more, sorry, 5. Do you see that? So I'll go over it again in a sec. Let's just finish up. Oh, how many did it find? Quite a few. There you go. So we go to TikTok, okay, we start our loop, and for every H3 tag that it finds, it's going to get that text, put it into a variable called username, and then we're just logging it out, okay? You see that? So that's all the usernames that it found. Now let's smarten it up a little bit. What we could have done, we could have come here, and let's just, don't actually want this here at all. Why aren't you disappearing on me? Oh no, what am I doing? I'm putting it everywhere now. That's strange. Normally it just goes. Okay, for now. No. What happened? Why are you doing this to me? Wow, what happened? That's a bit of a... Okay. Right, yo. Right, yeah, there we go. We're back to... I'm not going to touch it now. Okay. Right, so what we could have done... Sorry about that. Sip of coffee first, I think. Gotta have a bit of coffee. What's the time? Nearly midnight. Just getting started. It tastes awful. Who made that coffee? Not me. Right. So let's, what we could have done, we could have made a list. So list, create list, and this could be called usernames. Okay, and then that's created. And then what we could do after we've grabbed the username here, what we could do is add element to what list, well, the one called usernames, the one that we just made. And what do we want to add? We want to add whatever's inside that variable. Okay, so let's go from the start. Start loop, coming through. First one. Oh, I should have actually clear log. Okay, so it's going to show in the log the different usernames now. Oh, there you go. I only grabbed the first three, but oops. JSON error. Ah, okay. Sorry. Let's start again. We need to come off here. Let's save. Record again. Wait 10 hours for it to load. Okay, so load TikTok. We created our list, which we just wait for this to load. And if we come on here, we will see our list of usernames is blank, but we have a list, okay? So if we just add one, now let's have a look. Oh, there's an error. I don't know why. What happened there? Cannot serialize during action. It should be fine. So look, create list usernames. Check this. Usernames. Okay, so create list usernames and then add elements. Oh, what list? Ah, I'm trying to add. I was asking the bot to add the list to the list. Okay, user name, not names. I think that's right. I think that should be okay now. Start this over. Might have to restart the bot totally. Let's have a look. Okay. There we go. Now, if we look at the list, still not actually adding them into the list. Add element username into, because we didn't start up here, we started here. Okay, right. Let's save this. We'll get there. We'll get there. Make sure I'm still recording. Yep, good stuff. Sweet, right. So, create our list. Go to TikTok. Okay. Start our list. Get that. Add the element. Log out the username. Get a couple. Okay, let's have a look. There we go. So now we have a list, okay, of usernames. So you might think, why the hell are we doing that? Well, the reason behind that, when you take the usernames into a list, then later on you might wanna, you can do lots of things once you've got the stuff on the list. You can shuffle the list, you can get rid of duplicates, okay, and all that good stuff, right? So, and then you could save them, save one by one, or save the whole list, okay? What we could do as well is we could change this. So at the moment, what we're doing is grabbing just the text, the username, but what we might have wanted to do either as well or separately. So let's get rid of this. Let's just delete that and then say something like For each one, no. So let's just say that we want to grab the link. Get the link URL inside the loop. Yes, please. We're going to call it link URL. That's good with me. Okay. Now let's see what we get. See if we just run it from here, what happens. Oh no, it's going to log out the username. We want to log out the URL now. We'll change that, otherwise we're just going to get the username. Like so. So let's start again. Let's just make sure, save, record. Okay. Can the old TikTok loaded? Okay, start a loop. Get our link, log it out. There you go. So we've got the username. We went over this yesterday. It has the lang en at the end. We got this, and it still works. You put it in, and it'll go to the profile. But you could tidy this up easily with BAS. Try and remember the tool that you've got here at random string, replace string. You could just put that in and then replace to and have it blank, and it would get rid of it. So it's fine. It still works, but for your bot, you may or may not want that in. Yeah, that's kind of it, guys. The other thing that we did was I was asked how you'd work this if you was how can you scroll? I mean, you're just grabbing the first three. There's a few ways to scroll in here, and I find a kind of not a cheat, but what you could do is start the loop, you go through the loop, and then let's just say at the end you could do a what you could do is if you press browser and you put type, you can do a mouse wheel down or you can do a page down. So if we do a page down, boom, do you see it? Oh, didn't have it very big. So you could go boom, go down, and then once you get more advanced, what you could do is have a loop that goes through, and then it after it's done so many, then you can have it go down page, and then down page, and then collect. And that's another reason to collect them on a list, because you might get some duplicates. So then what you could do at the end, when you get to here, you could go to list and do nothing. And then you could remove duplicates like that. Boom. With what list? Usernames. Boom. Like that. Okay. I hope that makes some kind of sense. There is other ways to scroll, by the way, but that's a good one. If you wanted to do what you could do for scrolling as well is that you could have a user input for that as well. So you could go how many downs? Let's go how many downs. In other words, how many down arrows? Okay, and then you could do a fixed integer, fixed number, and then put 0, maximum 100. That will do. Finish. Okay, we're gonna have to reset the bot to put this in. But let's just say I put 5. Okay. So then anywhere in here you could put that. So you could put it here. How many, like, what I mean is you can start another loop to do it. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build this out a little bit so you can see all this stuff that I'm talking about. Okay, why not? Let's just give it, how long has the video been going? Let's have a look. What we got? 40 minutes. All right, okay, so let's do this. Let's give this a bit of a whirl. Let's get organized first a little bit going on here. Okay. I'm scared to touch this. Normally it just goes, and now there you go. Boy. No, let's move back down there. What's going on? There's gone a bit buggy. Okay, we will continue. Okay, now slurp a coffee. Right, what we could do, if we really wanted to, is we could go here and we could make a counter. We could do this and we could, and there is a better ways to do this, but it's a good way to show you about counters and loops. So set, where's set gone? Set label, set variable. Let's call this page counter and then set this to 0, okay? And then what we could do is we could say this. This is where it starts to get a bit more complicated. We could put while, okay, and we can say while page counter is under how many downs. So while this counter is underneath the number that we put in here, then do these actions, okay? So I'm going to yank all this, he says, in there, okay? And then let's just say, and this is just like really basic and a bit silly, but it will show my point. And then here we could put, and this is a bit basic, but we could go, yeah, type and then go page down. Why can't I see today? Page down. Okay. Right. So grab linked and log. Why have I got log twice? What am I doing? Okay. Grab link. And then what we could do as well, we could change the name of this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to put this in. So I'm going to explain to you what's going on in a second. I'm just going to usernames and then, oops, usernames and then add link. Cannot find usernames. Yes, because you're right. We didn't start off here. Okay, so let's do this. Let's refresh so we're all clear. Right, so we're going to say 5 downs or run. We should have called this something different, to be honest, like loop 5 times or go scrape 5 times. And this is really basic, guys. You know, we can build on this. I just want to show you some concepts, really. So let's call it username. Yeah, because it still is the username. It's the username links, but anyway. So let me just go through this page counter and start loop. We add the link log. Okay, let me just run through this to make sure it's in order. Then I can explain what the hell is going on. Hey AY, thanks for joining us. Yep, I'm just going over what we did yesterday, and then I'm gonna stop the broadcast for a little while anyway because this is also going to be a video. I'm gonna upload the video, then I'm gonna have like a shower for once, and then I'm gonna jump back on and be on for about 5 or 6 hours. So yeah, cool. I'll see you then, mate. So what we've done, we've loaded TikTok, we've got our list, and then we're gonna start the page counter. Okay, and then while page counter is under the number here, 5 in this case, do this. So loop, go through, grab the links, and then it's going to scroll down. Do you see? And it's going to do it again and again. Now, the one thing to remember when you're doing this kind of loop, okay, if you don't do what I'm about to do now, then this will just run forever because this is set to 0, okay, and it's still set to 0. So what you need to do at the end of whatever you're doing is come here and then you increase the variable. What do we want to increase? Well, the counter, and increase it by 1. Okay? See what's happening here? Okay, I'm going to run through it in a sec. I just want to make sure it's actually doing... Yeah. There you go. Okay, great. So I'm just going to exit and save so I can explain what's going on now. Just wanted to make sure it's actually doing what I wanted it to do. So I'll just put 10 for now. So you would want to change this up a bit. It's not, it's not scrolling. You want to separate the scrolling so it scrolls down more. There's plenty of more efficient ways to do this. However, I hope that I've taught you a couple of key concepts here. Key concepts. So first of all, we're creating a list. It's called usernames, okay? And then we're going to TikTok. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to kill this thing. What we're going to do is we're going to make a counter. We're making a variable, but it's basically a counter. So we can count how many times we're going through this. So we're saying set that counter to 0. Now what we're saying is while this counter is under the number that we put in there, which was 10, okay, do this load of crap, okay, basically. So now we're starting our loop on here and we're saying grab the first link that matches the H3 tag. So grab this link, okay, add element to the list usernames and then log out that link so we can see and then scroll down. Okay, so scroll the whole page there. Okay, then increase the counter. Now it's going to go again and it's going to grab the second one, add the element to the list, log it out here, and then scroll down. Okay, and so on and so forth. Barrow Brown, I was going to cry. 45 minutes late. I mean, this is crazy. Now, you were here yesterday as well, so basically, you haven't missed anything. I'm just going over exactly what I did yesterday because the clever man that I am building bots, I'm not clever enough to press the record button to record the stuff because I wanted this part to go onto a upload as well, so other people can see it. So yeah, I'm just gonna go over. You haven't missed anything. I'm just gonna finish up what I did yesterday. Then I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna come offline. I'm gonna have a little rest. I'm gonna upload the video, and then I'm gonna be live for about 5 or 6 hours. I'm gonna answer questions if people have got it. What I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna be working, doing my own stuff, and then I'm just gonna check the chats. And if anyone's got any BAS related questions, I'll just quickly whip up BAS, get it on, and just showcase whatever people want to see, basically. So it'll just be me streaming, doing my own work, and then people can ask questions about either the work, or they can say they've got a question about BAS or anything, or auto it, or JavaScript, or whatever the case. And yeah, I'll answer the question. And if they need a demonstration, then I'm the man to show them. All right. And then so page counter again, and you get the idea now. Then it's going to go to. Well, we can see that if we press the icon here, we can see everything. See, the page count is on 3. So this will keep doing it till it gets to 10 because that's the number we put in. And here's our list. Okay. I hope that makes sense, guys. All right, that's it. I basically covered what I showed yesterday. I just wanted to get everyone up to speed. In fact, why I really did this is because your friend Dean here, building bots and thinks he's clever, can't press the record button to manage to record the videos, because I wanted this section recorded because we learnt quite a few little things. I learnt about TikTok. I learnt it's a thing. I learnt that there's a lot of dancing girls on there. Brilliant. And I hope you guys learnt, something along the line. I think I covered everything that I did yesterday. This, I know I've said it about 4 or 5 times. The reason why I keep saying it is I don't want you to think this is the perfect way to build it. But basically you've seen how you can grab usernames, you can scroll down, you can save stuff to lists, and once you've got it on the list, then you can get rid of. The thing is, doing it this way, how I've done it so kind of crappy, basically, is that you're going to get duplicates. So what I could do here, so it's going to keep going down here until it hits 10. Then it's going to jump here. So then I could say, right then, list, and I could say remove duplicates, remove from where, well, our list is called usernames. So from there, hit OK, boom. And our list will be duplicate free. Then from there, you might want to save the list or manipulate the list, or now you've got the list, then you might want to go on to each one of them usernames and follow. So this could turn into a follow bot. This could be anything you want. It could make coffee, it could do whatever you want. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to jump off for a little while. I'm going to upload this video, shower, and then I'm going to be back on in a little while. Okay, thanks a lot for listening to me, and I'll catch you a little bit later. Peace.